Welcome everyone to another episode of Trek Talk with Tech and Kirk. I'm TechMan16.
And I'm StrangeKirk.
Strange Handy will be joining us soon, or sometime later in the podcast. But today we're going to talk about a couple of servers that are merging currently. That is the OG server 190. And to represent those guys, we got our good buddy Amorgin. He'll be here in a bit. And one of the least populated servers in our game, server 196, and here to tell you all about it is ElCheapo. How you doing, buddy?
This is crazy. My audio keeps on going down. Good evening, everyone.
That's okay. How you doing, Cheapo?
All good. It's about 8 a.m. my time.
Yeah, we're a multinational family here. Why don't you tell everybody where you're from?
Oh, I'm from the Philippines. So I think historically we're called the Little Brown Americans because we were an American colony for about 50 years or so.
That's right.
And
Wasn't 1933 that you declared your independence?
more like 1945, something like that. Sometime around Pearl Harbor and General Douglas MacArthur taking back Leyte, Philippines from the Japanese.
Gotcha. All right. So,
Is it the Philippines where the guys are as good looking as the girls? Is that the same place?
No, that's Thailand. That's
Right,
where
okay.
Thailand. But it's
So you're telling me you're not good looking then, no?
Thank God this isn't a family show.
What are you guys talking about?
Amorgin just opened a worms called Lady Boys. You know where
I'm
you
just
walk
trying to.
down the street and somebody comes up and says, "Hello, Mister, want Missy? I can love
I'm
you."
just,
That kind of
I'm
thing.
just
And
trying to figure out if Cheapo is a good looking chap or not. Like, you know, I know Kirk is into that shit.
Oh, kiss my ass.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Kirk is concerned, appearance is number one in all things in life.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. If you're going to go buy a car, are you going to buy a fucking shit box or are you going to buy the one that's been kept up?
It depends on what I'm looking for.
Fucking right.
Yeah, well, you drive a BMW, so we know you're into clapped out shit boxes.
Fair enough.
well, that's a great start. So Cheapo, tell us about your 50-person server.
okay, then. We didn't start out with 50 players. We actually had quite a lot. It was around I think February 2019 when we started dropping a whole crap load of players because of all the raiding and all the minor killing that we used to do. So I'm not exactly clean about it because I was one of the biggest minor killers on my server when it all started. Before we implemented this thing we call ROE, or well, you guys call it ROE, we call it the COC or Code of Conduct. Before
How
then,
long ago did you start your conduct?
if I recall correctly, it was implemented around February of 2019. So about a month and a half into the server.
So a month and a half, and everybody was killing everybody, and that caused players to leave, or did the exodus happen later?
Well, the exodus happened a little bit later, but there were a lot of departures back then. I think it's a lot of the departures started when Hades, a player who no longer plays these days, but when he started that, when he bought that baby jelly, is everything was honky dory. Everybody was killing everybody 24/7. I was I think 500 kills a day or something like that back then. So that was
Holy.
crazy.
Wow.
It was a start.
So have you got the same cock that you've had all along, Cheapo?
Same work.
Your cock.
Oh, you heard him right.
You're talking about your cock.
Amorgin.
Your cock.
Amorgin.
What?
Not everybody speaks Irish.
You call it COC. It's not a row for you. It's a COC. Is that right? That's your cock.
I'm sorry, it took a while to. It's the same COC, or like you said, but
So
we've had
you have to.
we had
Have
You have to say it.
Have you changed cocks since you started, or is it the same cock?
And do you like cock? Do you like the cock?
Sorry, I just can't reply to that. I cannot justify myself. The way it's phrased. It's just wrong.
Fair enough. That's probably smart. Don't answer that question.
Some cocks are way too long and drawn out.
I know. I'm curious how detailed your cock is. I'd like to see it. If you could post it in chat.
Most players prefer their cocks to be kind of short and sweet, to the point.
I like a very short
done.
cock. Yeah. Very short
me too.
cock. Yeah. DJ's server last night. I was listening to DJ's show. My God, there was a lot of long cocks there. Like, holy
Very long
fuck.
cocks.
Well, the code of conduct is basically one sentence where all survey ships mining resources resources G2, G3, G4 that are not overprotected should not be hit. That's it. Short and simple.
So they have a very small cock. Got it.
Short and effective.
I think what we're all trying to say is that there is very little litigation with regards to cock.
Right.
I suppose it's worth pointing out, Tech, that the founder server and ElCheapo server 190 and 196 are going to be merged. We're in the middle of this event. We're looking at a merge probably next week, give or take.
About
I don't know.
Getting back to Cheapo's cock here. So you were doing 500 kills a day, and then you implemented this short and sweet cock. And what happened with the exodus? Why did such an exodus occur?
Oh, he dropped out.
He's gone.
There we go.
You had to drop out because my audio dropped out again. Anyways, after that code of conduct was implemented, well, there was a whole lot of peace until we started hitting level 15, where base raiding was a thing.
And this was how long ago? You said about a year and a half? I think we lost him again.
I think he's gone again.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we got you again.
Okay. About February 2019, we started. February 2019, we started raiding.
So
when did your server open?
I imagine it was like December or January when I started playing the game. So yeah, I was actually at the point where Ops 20 was actually hard to get to. So I got in early enough. These days, getting to level 34 is like, yeah, everybody's 34.
Yeah,
were you guys a pre-launch server, or did you start a global launch?
Yeah, you know what? I don't actually know if it's pre-launch or global launch. I just know I found STFC when I was looking for a Star Trek game on my phone. I wanted to play on my phone.
What date were this?
He said that he started around
Tech, you're glitching out also.
Can you hear now?
Not really, it's still glitching. You sound like a robot.
Yeah, it looks like he's what do you call this? He describes it as swallowing the microphone. Did you swallow it?
Yeah. I did while it was. Um, so he said that he started around January 2019, which puts the server at about just 2 years old. So it looks like it's a launch day server. It's not pre-launch like yours, Amorgin.
Oh, the founder server is definitely a whole lot older. They even have extra refines that we don't.
Well,
Yeah, which is
34's
something
been
that I
going.
want to get talking about.
34's been going for what, like 2.5 years?
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
June, so it's about 2.5 years for us too.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so okay, let's go back to. Hold on.
You've muted there, Tech.
I did because my kid's yelling in the background. So everybody hit level 15 and started raiding each other. And is that when a mass exodus of people, or a mass amount of people just left the game because they got drained? Is that the deal?
These were the days when getting drained was really painful. I remember getting drained April 10. It was the one time I was drained, April 10, 2019. It took me 2 hours to recover, to get my ships up, to get my base to functional again. Tokens were not a thing.
Right, and neither were shields, right?
Oh, well, no. By the time I was playing, shields was a thing. And I knew my shield was expiring, but I was also working. So I had to, well, whatever, screw it. Let them raid me so I can experience it. And I experienced it, and I never got back to that again. Haven't been raided since. Well, drained since.
Right. Okay, let's switch over to Amorgin. Amorgin, I know you're just dying to say stuff. So
Oh, yeah.
you're representing server 190, the OGs, the founders. You're part of the oldest alliance in STFC, the House of Martok. Go ahead, do a little bit of bragging about it.
Well, I'm not here. I suppose nobody nominated me from 190 or anything to come and talk here. I suppose it's just through knowing yourself, Tech, that it was a very straightforward thing to set up. But
Well, it was either you or Fartasia, and Fartasia didn't want to come on the show. So.
yeah, well, we'll not get into the Fortasia stuff. I'll save that for my own channel. I'll try and be as magnanimous and diplomatic as I can be here on behalf of 190. But yeah, like I can't even remember my start date, but I'm into my 5th year playing this game now. You know, we're at it 4 years plus. Phil's the guy you'd want to be talking to. The man's got a fucking great memory, you know, and he stays on top of all the stuff of the game. He's moderator there, NDA, Scopely, all that kind of stuff. Like so, and he's more often than not, he's the admiral of our alliance. Like so, you know, in terms of players from 190, you know, there's a lot of guys there playing. A lot of the Aussies, for example, came into the game probably early 2017. Some of our guys on 190 or go back even before that, we were part of the alpha testing stage. You know, Digit being an Irish company, I suppose we got the opportunity to play this game before it was even in beta testing, you know. So, and I'd say, I don't know, we were talking to Taz the other night, and we estimate that there's probably only about 12 players left that were in the very, very original server when this game was first put out there. And a very, very different game to what it is today, you know. Like, you know, even going back to 2017 when the Aussies joined, we had guys running around then in Kelvins and ships like that people didn't get to see for a couple of years because stuff was tried out on us, you know. And ElCheapo mentioned there very briefly about the extra fines and stuff, and some of the guys that would have been on the community panel with me going back over the last couple of years would remember me giving out that we had 3 refine options at one time, and they took one of them away from us, and I'd done a lot of giving out about that because I'd been calling repeatedly for Scopely to bring all servers into line with our server because we enjoyed a lot of refining options when it came to G3. We also have regular events that give us bonus G3 materials when we go out and mine them, you know. So given that G4 is a thing now, it would have been something that you would have thought made sense, that rather than get rid of it from the first real server that was testing all of this stuff. We've had it for 3 or 4 years now, you know. You would have thought that making G3 easier to come by for people, you know, give it to everybody, you know, be decent about it and let everybody enjoy extra G3, but the reports are, yep.
Amorgin, tell us a little bit about early gameplay. You mentioned that you were the beta test. Well, let me summarize, because we used to talk about this way back before, and the ECS Fortunates used to have a warp range of like 120, 130.
Everything was so different, and we've seen so many changes in the game. It's hard to even remember at what stage. When I think back and I go, what period was that? Was that alpha stage? Was that beta stage? Like where, you know, because they changed things so much. Like even your G3 ships, like your Saladins and your Centurions and all of that, they had huge warp ranges. Like, I mean, we didn't have such a thing as what we know as deep space, dark space now. You know, it was just the map was there. There was very hard to reach systems, and the bigger ships had bigger warp ranges, and you could get to the far reaching. So it's 120 warp ranges, no problem, once you got up to that stage. What we also enjoyed way back then was a little bit like if people think about how augment space is now, and you go to the higher level augment system, you get faster mining rates. So we used to have power steel, titanium, all those kind of resources, and you'd be mining these at phenomenal rates. Like you could put a ship on a titanium node, for example, and you could be coming home with 10 million after a short enough mining stint, you know. It was huge amounts you could get if you got to them higher systems with a miner.
And
well
you also had what is it? There was no level restrictions on when you could build your ships, right? So if you just had the blueprints, you could build your Enterprise at level 15 or level 16.
Right, if you managed to get them blueprints, yeah, absolutely. Now, there wasn't too many people running around in Enterprises and stuff at that stage, because by the time people were approaching that stage of their progression, they go and change the game again, and they've done this to us a number of times. You know, we've seen resets. Like, I mean, there's guys out there now. We're going to be merged now with 196, and there are players on 196 in around the high 40s. There's nobody, I think, at level 4950 yet. There's nobody on our server level 4950. A couple of people very close, but there's nobody quite there yet. And some of that reason is because we've had guys that have been playing this game for 4 years plus, and you know, they progressed their account onto a certain level, and then it got reset. And then we were the first ever server to get a merge. The old server 1 and the old server 2, way before global launch, like back in early 2017, they merged the only two existing servers together. And that became known as what we now know as the founder server. And all of those guys, like, because they basically developed the second server with a different architecture, a different framework on how they developed it. So the two servers weren't compatible. So they had to kind of reset a lot of progress and give people compensation packages to try to get back to where they were. And there's a lot of people, Econ there, for example, it was one of his bugbears. He went on about it so many times. I think he may have done videos on it about what these compensation packages looked like, how people lost ships, how people had put in huge effort, spent a lot of money, and they felt very aggrieved that the compensation packages didn't give them back what they wanted. And then some players got huge compensation packages that give them real advantages, and they were able to progress very fast. So it was a bit of a mess. And
yeah, you were telling me that you lost a ship that you really wanted. Because...
Yeah, I had all of my Antares. I was level 24, I think, and like you got to remember that, like you said, there was no limits on what level you had to be to build this ship. So I had been grinding away and putting in the shift to get a faction miner, because I know we've debated this faction miner stuff, and it's not, I suppose, as much of a target for people now to get a faction miner. But back then, you got to remember, when you went and cracked the base, a base automatically replenished its health to 50%. So every hit you would put in on a base, if you're trying to drain it, you needed to literally crack that base every hit. So it was very, very important back then that you had a decent faction minor that was able to do that. The Cavort, out of the 3 faction minors, the Cavort was the ship that was known to be your preferred faction minor.
The best.
To crack a base.
Yeah.
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 I had a set of Antares blueprints. I was happy just to get a faction minor of any kind because I was only like level 24 at the time or whatever. And at that stage, I suppose the highest level on our server would have been probably approaching level 30, 31 maybe. And these were the heavy hitters, and like anybody, they want to go way back and check, like 2 years ago, back in January 2019 when I started making content, I was showing off where our guys were at that stage, and all the newbies coming into the game that were like when Chibo was talking about like hitting the level 15s and stuff like that. We already had guys in the 30s at that stage, so everybody was a little bit in awe of, wow, like look at these ships, this is the cutting edge, this is where it's at,
Yeah, I was watching your. I watch your content, Amorgin.
Thanks very much. But most people now, most people now look at like level 30 stuff, and it's irrelevant. A lot of people have reached that point now, and they're looking at what the level 50s and all are doing. But back then, having a faction minor was hugely important. So when I was getting one at level 24, as you can imagine, this was going to be a game changer for me. I didn't even have a horizon, I don't think, at that stage. I'd put in so much effort to get a faction minor, and and then that merge happened, and I lost all my blueprints. They didn't give them back to me, and I always felt it put me at a serious disadvantage, because the way base raiding happened at that time, it was one of the only ways to get resources. Resources were so hard to come by. It's not like Cheapo mentioned, there was no tokens back then or any kind of stuff like that. So titanium in particular was really, really difficult to come by. And so having a good faction minor that could raid a base was key to progressing at that stage, and I felt that it held me back for months. Like in fairness, I got other ships as compensation. Like I still have 6 Realtas, for example, and we got fully upgraded. The early jellyfishes, the very first jellyfishes. People used to talk about jellyfish gangs running around the place and raiding people and attacking people. We all had fully upgraded jellyfishes that were useless to us because people were going around in Saladins and Centurions and Bortus and these kind of ships before anybody else had them. So it was a very, very different time. But a lot of servers have overtaken us now. There's a lot of players out there that are stronger than our most powerful players and cheapos.
So, Amorgin, what's the cock like on your server?
Yeah, we have a lot of cocks. A few big dicks
complicated?
too. No, it's not really. You'll get your different views. Of course you're going to talk to other people and then encourage guys from ROG and the New Republic they're called. It's I suppose a collaboration of alliances that have come together. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's RMPHZ, right? They merged in preparation for the merge.
What basically has happened for us, I was saying this on DJ's podcast yesterday, or I was putting it in the chat, that I feel like an old fella listening to teenagers talking when they talk about row or cock, right? Because we've been there and been through it's like we are so insular because our server's been closed for so many years. Our server has never been open to new players ever. So this is quite exciting that we're getting merged with a server that's actually open because people can go and create accounts on that server now and come and join us and play with us. A bit of catching up to do, but people can do that. We've in 4 years, 5 years, we've never seen this. So it's a little bit exciting that can happen. But in that time, we've lost players, the same as Cheapo has said, you have your natural attrition, players leave. But I suppose we have, considering alts and all of that there, we have maybe 250, 300 players, or 250, 300 accounts that are relatively active on our server. And out of that probably forms maybe 5 alliances-ish. And out of them 5 alliances, there's 3 of them that are together. They're essentially one group, and on other servers they call it something else. I can't remember what it was. I heard Truck and Chicken them talking about their groups of alliances.
Oh, you mean
You're talking about coalition?
Coalitions, that's what they were calling them.
Coalition.
So the New Republic are like a coalition that's led by an alliance called ROG, and they've got ANS and RPH as kind of their partners in that coalition. RPH and ANS, they've been like the whipping boys to a degree. ANS a little bit more than RPH, maybe arguably. Some of them might say different, but they've kind of merged in advance of this merge with Server 196, and they're preparing the ground to be able to recruit new players, presumably, or whatever. Whereas HUM have always been very independent-minded. We
Hey,
went
Goblin,
we go.
turn your volume down just a little bit.
Cheapo,
Okay.
turn your volume down.
Trying. Okay.
So like when we go way back.
Okay.
Like,
I believe so.
Good.
Okay.
yeah, that's good. So if we go way back, we've been through all of the doors and the same.
Oh no, it's doing it again.
Alright, let
You
me
just
mute
gotta-
myself.
All right, I just muted you, Cheapo. So I'll unmute you when Amorgin's done.
So I'll try and wrap it up here for you, Tex, so you can move on a wee bit. But there's basically 2 power blocks, 3 if you include the neutral kind of alliance. But the 2 main power blocks that always existed were really, the heart of those were always HUM and RUG. Now there were other alliances involved in that, like ANS, RPH, Sword. There used to be an alliance called Sauce now, who have kind of become defunct since. But what had happened way back with us, when I suppose we got squeezed down to a core population, is RUG had recruited a bunch of alliances into their coalition, and it was like RUG S, RUG B, RUG whatever, and so they had like 4 alliances that were looking like they were going to dominate everything. And ourselves and Sword and Sauce and maybe 1 or 2 others, like, we seen this happening, and we were enemies, and we had our wars and fights, but we weren't bitter, I suppose, towards each other. And that forced the remaining alliances who were kind of independent-minded to come together and form a coalition called the HSS. And Econ and guys like that would have been Sword, Billy, all them guys would have been Sword. And they kind of joined with us, and we all became buddies and friends. And some of them guys then eventually came and joined HUM and merged with us. And we broke that attempt to dominate the server. RUG didn't manage to form that coalition and dominate the server. But ever since that, the vassal alliances like RPH and ANS have always remained friendly with RUG. And HUM have always been kind of the ones standing against that. And that's my point of view on that, We're of course accused of being aggressors. We're accused of all of these kind of things, but that's all a matter of perspective, We've changed the row a number of times. Like, there's a lot of messing about. You know how these things go. People start messing around. There's a lot of fuckery goes on. One side's accusing the other side of all sorts of shenanigans, and I'm sure it goes on. Both sides. Nobody's entirely innocent. But for me, my preferred, we come up with a row one time because everybody was just sick of all the negotiating, all the bullshit, all the big long cocks that were out there, and so we eventually just threw the towel in. The vast majority of our players, they just wanted to get on, play the game, and they said, screw it, let's drop all the fucking row, let's just go out and play it the way we want to play it. And I think, for me, my favourite row we ever had was no socks with sandals. That was our rules. That was it. Nothing else. And it was as simple as that. And that was simply a piss take to say, you know what, do what you want. You just don't be a pussy, don't be acting the bollocks, don't be coming and crying about fucking getting your minors hit, don't be coming crying about anything else, we're just going to play it the way we want. And from my point of view, RUG couldn't handle that because, they like to set the tone, they like to set the bar, they want it to be a certain way. And we just threw the towel in or whatever. And through all sorts of different things that went on with different players and stuff that happened, people have changed sides now. Some of the original, I only heard recently that Iron Monkey, Suzaku was telling me that Iron Monkey actually was the one who created RUG in the first place, when RUG had absorbed a number of these other alliances. And Iron Monkey and the guys, they left RUG. They seen what was happening when certain players came and joined them. They didn't like it, and they left their own alliance. And from my point of view, they were the heaviest hitters. They were the guys with the real teeth. That left, and the majority of them were the real teeth.
When I talked to Iron Monkey, he did say that he was the original founder of ROG. So That's
I didn't even know that. I knew he was a founder. I knew he was a founder, but I didn't know he was the guy that actually created the alliance.
right.
So
So let me ask you this
so
then.
guys like Iron Monkey now have come and joined us. They were mortal enemies at one time, but because of the way the thing kind of, I suppose, played out, certain personalities just end up coming together and going, you know what, our play styles are much more similar than we ever thought, and guys like
So
Phil and Monkey would have never got on with each other, but now they're buddied up, and
Amorgin. So
That's fairly typical, though. I mean, typically when you really fight hard against somebody, you end up getting some kind of mutual respect for each other, and you create friendships out of it, right?
yeah, I think that happened. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
so
I mean, I see it all the time. Go ahead,
since you're
Jack.
going through a merge, what happened on your server? And probably yours is a very unique situation because it was screwed around with so many times. But what led to a mass exodus of people on your server that you only have around 200 to 250 players that are active?
I think there was natural attrition that caused that. Like the natural attrition combined with the fact that there was no new blood coming in. The fact that we were locked and you couldn't get in. Like we were only one of a handful of servers that's closed. Having said that, there were the benefits of having the extra refines, like we talked about, and things like that. So we couldn't complain too much. And then when events would happen, it was easier to rank in events and things and get the rewards. So there was pros and cons to it in some ways. Like we're not nowhere near as bad as 196 and ElCheapo server there, in the sense that they're down to like 40 or 50 players. I can't imagine what that would be like if it happened to us. Like,
Yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
Cheapo,
I'm surprised there's anybody left, to be totally honest.
Come back here. Where you at?
Hey, good morning
All
or
right,
good evening again. Yeah,
right.
we
So you're
about
so
50
you're
plus.
at yeah, you're at 50 something players. And your highest power level is what on your server?
We got V ready at ops 46. And I believe actually Amorgan's server has what, 249s and 246s. So they still have power over us and quantity.
And the events. So how are the events going for you? Because I know Amergan told me it's based on percentage of activity. And so
Oh,
out of 50 players, if you have like 30 active and out of 250 players, there's only 100 active, you guys are going to win the events. So
we
how are the
actually
events?
won. Yeah, we actually how do I put this? We actually kicked their ass on day one without even trying. We were not. There wasn't much about it, but then again, we're 196. They're 190. They have an extra refine, and leadership got together and said, "Let's tank this." So we got a chance to get that extra refine. So we are actually trying to lose. So we will get merged into 190.
You don't think Scopely will take that away?
the
Oh,
word is, nobody's
that's
able to say for certain, but the word is that they're planning to take it away anyway.
I would
yeah.
think they would.
Who knows if this is true or not, but it would be typical of the kind of Scrooge mentality that we've seen in the past from Scopely,
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, we all agree on that one. But still,
Which is a
I
pity.
mean,
Like I've put the call out to Rev Deuce and Fartasia and others there that let's all drop our shit for a while. Let's get the wider player population clued in
the
to
extra
the fact
refine,
that
please.
yeah, let other players on other servers know that Scopely can do this. Scopely can give you an extra refine. It's a bit of work for them, it takes a bit of an effort for them. But why wouldn't you, now that we've got G4, bring all servers into line with the founder server? We've been testing this bloody thing for the last couple of years for them. It works. It's not giving us an unfair advantage. Let all players enjoy it now at this stage,
There's no money in it, man. Obviously.
It's not giving us that.
But
It's not a wild serious advantage. It's just a little bit extra. And besides that, Tech, we all know the way this goes in all games. Once you move up to a higher tier like G4, the tier below always becomes easier to obtain. This is a key way to be able to do it for
yep,
people.
Hey, so Chipo,
Yep.
I got a question for you. Because you're not based in the United States, I was talking to Commander Taylor on 192 after they went, I think he went through a merge 190, 192. But he's based in Australia, and he's telling me that the packs cost about 130 US dollar equivalents because it's a $30 tax from Apple or Google for not being in the United States. What are your pack costs like?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think you're gonna lose me on that part because my name is ElCheapo because I don't buy packs. I'm free to play, sir. Ops
Okay,
41.
Yeah, but you still got to know what they cost, right?
that's fine, but like when you go to the offer store, what does it say?
Well, I get my packs in my local currency, but when I do translate it, or rather convert the currency, it's about $100. I think Commander Taylor, you might have missed the point wherein Commander Taylor pays in 130 AUD or Australian dollars. It's still 100 USD.
Oh, really? I thought there was an extra tax tacked on top of.
There is an extra tax for iOS players, but when you buy the packs from Scopely itself, it's still $100 everywhere, and then they apply iOS taxes or your local country's taxes. Because Malaysia, I do know that Malaysia recently had this new tax on their e-currency, so my fellow players from Malaysia are complaining about the more expensive packs.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. I get it. All right, so level 46 is your highest player, and there's 50 on your server. What can you tell us about what the day-to-day life is like on your server?
Okay, then. Well, basically, my day would be to wake up, move my miner, not take it home, move my miner because currently we have a full nap on everything, as in nothing gets hit because we're getting to merge, so it's time to get fat. So I have like I think 2 million raw G4 on my miner at the moment in G4 space. It's not yet full, so it's not going home yet. I get my dailies done. And since we only have 50 players left, and as opposed to Amorgin's story where they actually still have some competition because it's House of Martok versus Rogue and they call this a coalition. We started in that direction a while back, but eventually because of Scopely's what call this Crucible of War and Apex events where it was basically impossible to accomplish without merging. The two biggest alliances, which was Titans or TTN, they started pretty much when the server itself started, and Unity Collective was actually a coalition of smaller alliances that banded together just to be able to stand up to TTN. The point is, at the end, TTN and UC still merged because we had to accomplish Apex and Crucible of War. But basically, all our dailies are pretty simply accomplished. Yeah.
So is everybody still in one alliance, or are you still spread up amongst other alliances?
We have one. We have one big alliance, which is right now it's called Titan Collective, but we do have a splinter alliance called Cafe because they didn't like the fact that there are some personalities that don't go together, and also they didn't want the fact that it's just one big alliance. They wanted some quote unquote competition, but the thing is, on a server with only 50 plus players left, I have literally attacked, and I think with the exception of maybe 3 accounts, I have drained every single base on my server. Every single player has seen me hit them. So I'm tired. I don't want to hit them anymore. I've been there, done that.
Yeah, that's got to get old real quick. I couldn't.
Yeah, especially when you know what they're running and how they crew and what's their newest ship, whatever.
There's hundreds of players on my server that I've never even seen before. I know
every single one.
Staring at the same ships every single day.
Like to put it into
My
perspective, how many people's in your alliance?
my alliance is like, I think we have 67 in the roster, about 20 plus 25 active daily players, and the enemy alliance would have about 5.
And Tech and Handy, how many would be in your alliance there, for example? Active.
We have what, 82, 83?
We're at we're at 80. We're at 84 each, Handy, and I think
twice as
80.
many active people in your alliance than this guy does in his entire server. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way: we don't have enough players online at the same time to do armadas, 5-team armadas. We have to wait. Okay, who's coming online? Who's available? Please come on. Let's go.
What countries does your server serve, Cheapo?
It's Asia. It's Asia Pacific. So half our players are actually Australian. We have like 4 Filipinos, there are 4 Filipinos on the server right now. We have Singaporeans, Japanese, Taiwanese, I think we do have a Korean, and maybe 3 or 4. I think 3 Americans and a German guy who all started their accounts up while they were in Asia, so that's why they got into the Asia Pacific server.
So how's the language barrier work out? Do you use like Google Translate?
Everyone speaks English except for the Japanese, and I tell the Japanese when they complain, because sometimes I do. In the past, I did hit them. Google Translate that, or I don't care, whatever you say, it doesn't matter.
So it's literally just characters.
Just English. Well, I do have a
curious,
little idea, but
in chat, like in a global chat, does it show the different text? Like, you actually
it does.
get
And
Japanese characters?
well, let's just say that our global chat, or GC, sometimes is empty for 3-4 days at a time. As in, literally, no one speaks.
God. If only. I wish our GC was that quiet.
Oh, but when it starts up, it's toxic as hell. So, just meh. Don't even talk.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, Cheapo, when you say that your Galaxy chat is toxic as hell, and whatever bitterness that might exist on your server, you've got a little taste now on your Discord server now. You've seen both sides of our war, I suppose, visit your Discord server, and you've seen what that's like now over the last couple of days. Do you think your guys are as bitter as our guys are? Would it be much the same, or are we worse, or you worse? What way is that?
I can't really compare it yet, because we only had a taste, but I can say that we've had racism. We've had we've had a lot of I don't want to use profanity, but we've had a lot of fuckery too on our server. Right. Okay, so what I see on your guys' server, it's the same. Yeah,
it's pretty general worldwide that there's always fuckery on every server, regardless of how many people there are.
Well,
no
I
doubt.
Actually blame Scopely on this thing. It's they have a really poor way of managing their terms of service. I feel like there's supposed to be a terms of service. Players are supposed to be protected from all these hate speech, and they can't accomplish it.
Well, they
can't do it.
They usually, you have to complain, right? But usually they'll chat ban people, and if it continues, they'll eventually ban them.
Well, we've had rumors that it happened on our server, but we actually have no proof that it happened to anybody on our server. And I have seen a whole lot of hate on that global chat that I don't even. I try to avoid it.
I was chat banned a couple of weeks ago, and there's a theory knocking about out there that the chat ban only kicks in when a certain threshold of players report the comment.
Oh, so that means we need more players so we can report.
That's not necessarily
that's the
true.
Theory now. It's not necessarily true, but that's the theory.
That's not true, because I was reported by a player in my own alliance, and I got my account banned for 8 hours and chat banned for another 16 after.
Was it a joke?
Long
or
ago
did you
talking
actually
there,
do something naughty?
I said something that was in poor taste, and he screenshotted it, sent it to Scopely, and I was banned for a day.
How long
Effectively.
ago?
Oh, geez, this was at least like 7-8 months ago.
Right.
Well, let's
That was,
just
no, it was,
without.
it was definitely a year. It was definitely a year because it was before I even came to Dark.
Was it?
Well,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
most
without
likely.
using any names, let's say, let's see. If I could give an example, without using any names, we actually had a player who wished another player to contract COVID at the time when he was actually COVID positive.
Now, did he say, "I hope you get
So
it," or
yeah, something like that.
yeah?
It's
But that's
paraphrasing, but the point is,
if
it's in poor taste,
if
man.
you word of course, but if you word things in a certain way, there's nothing Scopely can do because it doesn't actually break their terms of service. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
this
it's like I would
this one
be
is vile.
I
And
would be
we've
super
had
like,
the anti-Semitism too, and the Nazism on our chat,
Well,
and
oh, there's
it's
no
just
doubt
poor.
that
It's just bad.
of course it's bad taste and there's no place
well,
in a game. People are supposed to have fun here, and anybody who practices in any of those hate messages should take it elsewhere because nobody wants to hear it.
Handy, I don't think Scopely knows what Scopely's terms of service actually are,
That may be true.
because they're way too nebulous to be properly enforced.
I would say that as long as somebody's spending money, I don't think they care.
Nebulous.
Exactly.
Good word, bro.
Well, because
That's
there's no
right.
checks and balances, right? I mean, what's somebody going to do to Scopely if they don't? You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, the
Right.
terms of service means you can't complain. They own everything, so they can't
Pretty
even
much.
reveal to you why you're banned. Stupid.
Right. Right. I asked why I was banned. They told me I violated the terms of service, and I'm just like, okay, what exactly did I violate? Chat ended.
I think the last time I contacted customer service was March 2019. I haven't gone back to them at all ever since. Never did.
They're
It's
they're
fairly pointless, isn't it?
they're not very helpful.
Not typically.
No,
You get those copy paste messages that we all love.
yeah, I find Discord moderators more helpful. Content creators like Amorgin, Fart Asia, Nebhet, Philocard, uh, they're more helpful. Rev now on DJ. I find them more useful than customer service altogether. Hell, it
Yeah, but
takes
what if you have
clicks
a
just to get to
specific
them.
what if you have a specific problem? You know, like you click an event and you don't get the loot or something, or you do the event and you don't get the loot, or some bug happens. I mean, then you're gonna have to
I walk away.
contact.
No, I
You
don't
just let it
contact
go?
customer support. I just let it go.
Okay,
Doesn't happen. Doesn't matter. Whatever.
fair enough.
You probably end up
It's-
getting about the same result anyway.
It's not worth it. Contacting customer support. I'm sorry. I don't know if anybody's listening that works for customer support, but they are not worth it. They are 8 clicks away, hidden away, and they're 8 clicks again just to check if they actually replied. So no thanks. I'll just move on along, and if I find the game no longer playable, I'll walk away.
So, are you guys excited about the merge?
Oh yeah,
Actually,
definitely more players, better.
let me ask you guys this: what is 196 called? What's the server actually called? And what is 190 called? And what do you guys hope that the final name is?
196 is Praetor. I don't know what 190 is, but Founders would be nice. Prosper, yeah. 190 is Prosper and 196 is Praetor.
And what do you guys want it to be?
Give a shit.
Honestly, I don't care. What I want is their G3 extra refined. I don't care if they call our server SHIT or COCK. Doesn't matter as long as we get an extra refined.
Actually, the reason I ask is because my other guys from server 9 and 25, shout out to those guys that are going through a merge. Server 9 is called Soul, and server 25 is called Connie. short for Constitution. And nobody wants to be called Connie, but it seems that server 25 is winning those battles right now. So it seems like everybody's going to be a Connie.
Oh dear.
Well, you win some,
Yeah,
you
by
lose
the
some.
looks of it, we're going to be Praetor.
I mean, that's not a
I
bad
don't know.
name.
Praetor is okay, but we want the refine. That's why our leadership.
Yeah.
I'm not.
We'd rather
I used to be
Prosper.
yeah. The extra refine from Prosper would be much better, and I'm not really a leader in our server anymore. On our alliance, I stepped off because I didn't have the time, and well, there were other side issues. But the point is, I'm
Do
no
you even
longer an
need leadership?
official admiral. Oh yeah, we need leadership.
With 50 players, you still need leadership. Good job, humanity. You've done well. Fuck's sakes. Oh,
Yeah. So
God.
what's the Discord situation like? Are there a lot of Discord fights? What's up with that?
Oh, on 196, no, we don't have a lot of fights. I recently had to call out this certain guy named Amorgin for his language on my Discord server. Because 196 and again 190 as our topic is we're merging. So these
There are a
guys
crowd
from
of fucking
190.
pussies. There are a crowd of pussies in there. Snowflakes can't handle the bad language. Fuck me.
You just don't like being moderated. Oh come on, you guys are supposed to be introducing yourselves. You wanna come in there and turn off all the players who
Now,
really don't cuss.
Cheapo, I've been well behaved in that server. I could have went in there. I went into your server and I read back through some of that chat. And Fartasia had been spouting an awful lot of shit about me, and he mentioned me in particular, and said that I told a load of lies on my videos and shit like that. There, I could have went in there all guns blazing, giving it him both fucking barrels, and I didn't. I was well behaved, and you know I was well behaved. And
Yeah, it was okay.
Instead of going that road, I tried to take the moral high ground and call for people to come together and try to get the second refine retained for us all and all that shit.
And I thank you for it. I want the second refine too. I'm with you on that. And as for Fart Asia's pronouncements, you all know I am okay with negative commentary and even propaganda. And I've told both sides of this thing. But I will step in when I see a whole lot of profanity. None of the profanity. You can accuse each other of whatever. Just stop the profanity so that people can read something.
See, I had a bit of an idea, when Tech's asking what the Discord situation's like, and yous are quite quiet there, no population, all of that. We have multiple fucking Discords, and I've had multiple Discords over the years to try to negotiate peace deals and do whatever, and it never works out, The bitterness is too great there. It always breaks down, and so at the moment we have two servers that are for 190 that has a mix of players on each, and that's where we discuss matters relating to cock or row or whatever you want to call it. And I kind of fancied the idea that you guys coming in as neutrals could maybe be the hosts of such a server where it's neither side from our battles that's in control of it. It's somebody who's entirely neutral and diplomatic like yourself. But see the way that you won't have profanities and all that there. That just ain't going to work with us. Like, so I wanted you to be. I really wanted you to be like Switzerland and mediate between all of these sides and be the sensible head in the middle of it all. And you aren't tainted by all of our bullshit, but. If you're not going to let some of our guys curse, like the Irish lads are just not going to be in there, and then not to mention the Scottish lads.
It's a cultural
Yeah,
thing.
but
You're just going to have to let it go.
the profanity tends to turn off the folks who want to put out the sensible arguments. They have points, and the points get lost under all the profanity. So I've told everybody that I mean my server.
It's a sensitivity thing, is what it is, and each culture has its own sensitivity to profanity. Now, you just got to realize that they're only words. You know what I mean?
True enough. Yeah,
So
but I mean,
profanity,
if
sure, it's only an issue if you take offense. So if you tell yourself, "I don't take offense to this. It's just words," and context means everything. So if somebody's using curse words in a very arbitrary way, it's just not a big deal. If somebody's using curse words to attack somebody, that's different.
All right, hey, look here. Fuck that. Tech, what else you got?
Actually, Amorgin, I'm curious actually because when I talk to other people on other servers, everybody is that is going through a merge is kind of more like a server versus server mentality. Everybody on the server kind of comes together and kind of holds arms. But it feels like from this point of view that when you guys merge and during the next maintenance, it's still going to be Hom versus ROG and server 196.
Oh,
In the
absolutely, absolutely. Now, in
that
fairness, I could trash talk about Fortesi and what he said in that Discord, but I'm not going to do that. I'll save that for my own channel if I'm going to do that, right? What I will say is, Fortesi made some comments there that kind of, in terms of advising the 196 guys, that's probably reasonable enough advice in the sense that he advised them maybe to form their own alliance and to come together and come in as a new front and another block into the mix, and it would change things up. That's not bad advice for the 196 guys. But of course, what's going to happen here, and we know this is going to happen, is ROG are going to go in and do their old tricks and try to recruit everybody into their coalition. That's already underway. The HOM lads, of course, will do their own wee bit of recruiting as well, but they'll do it in a more subtle one-to-one sort of fashion, not looking to build a coalition, but more kind of like looking to pick the talent and pick the best that's out there and bring them into the fold. That's the way that will work. Now, Fortesi did say something about it's like everybody's going to wine and dine the 196 guys, right? And to kind of use his analogy, HOM aren't going to wine and dine nobody, right? The way this is shaping up is, if you can imagine a bar, and a bar that's full of men, and there's fuck all women available in the bar, and a small group of women become available, and like a hen party comes into this bar that's full of a load of horny gays, like, right? Straight away, all the lecherous kind of fucking slimy bastards are going to be straight up to that hen party, offering to buy them drinks, kissing their ass, telling them everything they want to hear. And in the corner, sitting a group of kind of biker hard men, kind of rough and tough lads, like who don't really give a fuck. So while all the slimy fucking suave, sophisticated lads are up there trying to fucking give it a bit of swagger with the girls, that hen party's eyeball, or a group of girls in that hen party are eyeballing the lads in the corner that aren't making any effort, and they're going, I like the look of these long-haired scruffy fuckers, like, them boys look like they've got real cocks, like, and that's what I fancy HOM are. We're sitting in the corner, we'll wait and appraise the talent as it comes in. We're not going to be bending over to fucking to try to attract their attention, but we'll take the cream out of all of them girls. Like, we'll take the best of them, we'll take them home.
should I be offended that you're describing us as girls?
I think you should be flattered.
Okay.
But it's that kind of predatory thing is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, you know the way, like, you put a couple of girls into a room dominated by gays. The gays are going to get wild competitive, and they're going to be tripping over each other to get the female attention. Gays will make fools out of themselves more often than not, like to get that attention, because they're starved of female company. That's what this is a little bit like. So we're quite happy to sit back and let things progress as they are. And you know what? If none of these girls seem to fit the bill, then they can go where they want. We're not desperate, like, we'll hold our own no matter where we go. I think that's our attitude. Like.
No. Well, if I could reply, I could actually see one of two things happening here, because like you said, ROG is the way I've talked to them, from what I've seen, it's like they're a progression team. They also want to progress, and well, as I've told everybody, we've already merged into one alliance, not because of PvP, but because we wanted to progress as well. So there are two things that could happen here, in my opinion. First is that we would actually merge so that we could all progress together, or we would be in heated combat, so that who gets to be number one next on the new server, and who's number one on those alliance rewards and all that stuff. Because the way I hear it, home is the PvP guys. Is that right? Is that am I hearing the
Well,
correct thing,
if you
Amorgin?
go and you look, well, if you look at the stats, ROG have the single most competitive player on the server. This guy is the king of hitting underprotected miners. Like, we'll be accused of doing that. And yes, we have guys that will go out and hit your UP miners and all of that shit as well. But ROG actually have the most outstanding player when it comes to he will hit anything that he sees. Now, ROG will say that he's pretty disciplined, and if you have a peace deal, he won't hit you and all of that kind of stuff. And that, while that might be true, his stats don't lie when it comes to the leaderboards. This guy hits everything that he sees. And when I've had my tangles with him and I've said to him, what the fuck is your problem, dude? Like, you do nothing else. You have no fucking life. All you do is wake up every day and you go out and you hit all the UP miners and then log off for a while and come back and do the same fucking thing again. Like, does it not get fucking bit tedious? And his attitude is very much kind of like, look at my numbers. It's all about the numbers. Doesn't care what he hits. It progresses him on the leaderboards, right?
Essentially, if we have somebody kind of like that or has acted like that in the past, but is learning a new way.
Right. And in fairness to that guy, he does it very well. He's very persistent, you know. Like there's no beating this guy. This guy is fearless, and he'll go out and he'll do it. That guy's a member of ROG, and that guy is ROG's greatest asset when it comes to fighting a war. If they lost that guy, ROG would be cowed into submission, right? There's very, very few like him in ROG. And what I would say about ROG as well, and like you'll see this yourself, ROG leadership abandoned that alliance. All the OGs of ROG are gone. And what it is they've absorbed all of the other alliances that were starting to die. That's what's happened there. And even the guys like Chargina and the high-level guys that are there, Chargina went and joined Borg, who were like a neutral mining alliance. And Chargina and that were in Borg for ages there. And it kind of left ROG without any leadership. If you compare that to HOM have had the same leadership for 4 years. We've had the same leaders from day dot. We are the oldest alliance in the game, and we've got the same core of people. Like I said at the start, there's like a dozen people who go way, way back before any other players in this game. I'm talking 6 months, 8 months before anybody else played this game. And there's only about 12 of us left. And 11 of those 12 are still in HOM and in the leadership of HOM. You know, so for whatever it is that has held us together, our guys are tight and will remain tight. And to say we're not about progression, of course we're about progression, but we're not going to bend the knee to anybody. We're not going to bow down to ROG or anybody else. We'll play the game in our alliance, and we'll do it our way. You know, if we get friends along the way, which we've made friends, we've made enemies, we'll carry on doing our thing. And we've topped leaderboards, we've won events before. You know, like.
Okay. Well,
we want to progress too. You know.
Let's just say that we haven't been talking much about it, but it's the way ROG have presented themselves as a progression team. And, you guys came in, you guys saw Fart Asia's comments, and that's where the conversation is right now. So we haven't gone further than that. So that's my impression.
We're quite happy, we're quite happy. Like, I'm not here to sell you, Cheapo, or anybody else on the virtues of HOM. I know what we are. I know what we've been through. You know, I'm quite happy with the way that it is. Would it be nice to get a couple of new guys come in and have the crack with us and join with us? Yeah, of course. But, you know, if you want to come and fight with us as well, so that's all right too, you know. Like, it doesn't really bother us. We won't be bending over backwards to try to kiss anybody's ass to sell you on what we offer. You learn that for yourself. It might take you a while, but you learn that for yourself. I'm quite confident that you're going to see and make up your own mind, you know.
I would even encourage you guys to probably do come into your own, like, take your whole server, put it in one alliance, and just test out the waters for 3 months and get a feel for the server.
Here's the thing. I mean, Amorgin is talking about HOM versus ROG, but we also have a lot of ill feelings when it comes to the other guys that left. The guys that we were all I mean, all the alliances have all been playing together at one time or another. So it's a really big old mess, and some players really don't like each other. I have players I don't like to play with. Some players don't like to play with me. And as Amorgin said, they have this player that just logs on, kills miners, logs off. That's where I started. I was that guy. So, and
like I
I'm not
said,
alone on our server.
anybody can grow and change and learn a new way. And typically, as people make friends in this game, or spend more time and or money, or they have a little bit more appreciation for the other people in the game as they progress and tend to make friends, and therefore they're less likely to do things that piss people off, unless they're a special kind of prick.
Amorgin
We had
mentioned
those two.
Amorgin mentioned in his little rant that he's calling the 196 folks kind of like recruiting the girls. Which brings me to my next question: how many girls are left in both of your servers?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe we have 3 females on our server. 3 players that are female.
Yeah, I don't actually know, to be honest with you, Tech. I'm aware of Millie and Missy. Millie is Rog and Missy Tom, and the 2 girls they'll get on well with each other. And when the boys are being absolute dicks, the 2 girls will tell them, right? And they're from both sides of the thing. There are other players there that some guys will speculate that Bad Kitty there is supposed to be a female. I'm always dubious about that. Nothing personal against Bad Kitty, but Bad Kitty came out of nowhere. I don't remember Bad Kitty back in the early days. Our server's been closed. I don't remember who Bad Kitty was, and I don't know that account, and I don't know that player. So that was a name change somewhere along the line. I doubt that is a female. It could well be, but in any invitation to Bad Kitty to come in and do voice chat, it's always been declined. So I'm always going to be dubious about that. There are other players there that lads have speculated is it female. We had a guy that was in our alliance, and he had a female name, and all the lads thought he was a female until Taz got on the case, and Taz figured out this is actually a guy with a female's name. And that's the internet, that's online gaming, unless I know for certain they're a female, then you may as well be a gay to me. So the only 2 I can be sure of is Millie and Missy. There may be a few others.
All right, shout out to the 5 or so females across Asia and Ireland who play the game on the servers.
Tech, and Handy, both of you. Just a side note, do you guys remember when 3/4 of the server thought Scarlet Fire was a girl?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Scarlet Fire, who definitely has a penis. But anyway, just a side note there.
Oh, there's plenty of people like that. I mean, we've got a lot of people, and then we've got the people that think there's somebody else, or there's always conspiracy theories, right? So there's always those players that people think is somebody else's alternate, or blah 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 blah.
Yeah, well, don't we have
all kinds of
Handy,
garbage?
don't we have people in our respective alliances that have feminine sounding names? I think Bim Bet was in Dark for a while, now is in Nona, and that's a dude.
Yeah.
And I think
there's lots of them.
I think Black Cat in Dark is a dude.
Yeah. Black Cat's a dude.
So just shout out to all the females that play the game and that still play the game on any server and put up with all the crap that is in game.
I was actually just going to say that. I mean, we've definitely talked to plenty of females doing the show, and the women that play this game really have to put up with a lot of shit from these assholes, man. It's just it's just ridiculous. I mean, they find out they're a girl, and all of a sudden, it's like, if you want a visual, it's almost like they're humping their base every day. Hey, what's up? How you doing? What's going on? Jeez, oh Pete, man, get a life. Come on.
Well, I mean, the people that do that and all of a sudden give a bunch of attention to the girls on the server are either one of a few different things. Either they're extremely lonely or they're young. You know what I mean? Because I gotta believe that most people that play this game are adults, and we're not going to show a woman any more attention than any other player just because they're a woman. I mean, most people don't do that. It's just silly.
Hey, let me just hey, I'm a huge Star Trek nerd, right? We're all Star Trek fans. We're all Star Trek nerds. We all love it. But let's just be honest on the general stereotypes exist for a reason. And let's just be real about the general stereotype of Star Trek nerds. If you're listening to this and you fit the stereotype, you're part of the problem. I'm sorry if you're offended. I'm actually not, but
I have talked to tons of people on this game, and there's maybe out of the 100 people I've voice chatted with, I've maybe come across a couple that I would consider a true nerd.
But also look at the fact that you're looking at anecdotal evidence. Look at all the people who don't get on voice chats. The people that get on voice chats with us are the just kind of the regular Joes, right? The people who are refusing to come on for one reason or another, let's face it, most of the people that refuse to come on is because they're deathly afraid of coming on. They're keyboard warriors, whatever the case may be. So the percentage of people who don't come on far outweighs the percentage of people that do come on. So you can't take that small snippet and use it to represent an entire demographic.
True. I guess it stands to reason that the more alpha type of people, the people that are very confident in themselves are the ones that are typically going to come on a talk show or use voice chat in general, et cetera.
Generally speaking.
I guess that makes sense. I hadn't actually thought of it that way, but I guess it does make sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at,
Or the most extroverted, if you will.
Well, but I mean, you look at the people that we speak to and the people that come on here. Most of them never really have an issue opening up and talking and confronting people, and we don't have people that are just afraid. When we have confrontations on the show, nobody's afraid of anybody. You know what I mean? And so that's just, I feel like that's the mentality.
It's kind of very difficult to be afraid of somebody across the internet. It's not like they're at your front door. I mean, what's there to be afraid of?
You can absolutely intimidate. You can absolutely intimidate people on the internet. We've done it. You've done it. I've done it. Everybody in this room has probably done it. We've intimidated somebody in the game.
I mean, I get your point, yes. But still. I just don't think it's enough intimidation to cause people to close up and not want to talk to people.
I gotta say, Strange is correct. I have heard of people who do clam up, who refuse to talk, even in alliance chat, even on Discords. When our alliance is pretty small, so when we do have some issues, somebody comes on. Some of our players are pretty overbearing, and when they speak, everybody else clams up and walks away. So sometimes I'm the one who has to speak for them, or I feel like I'm the one who's speaking for them. Maybe some of them feel I'm the overbearing one, but the point is, some players just end up PMing me and telling me, please fight for this point. We want this.
I mean, you just have your alphas and your betas, I guess. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with either. It just is who you are, I guess.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
that was a fun tangent. It's probably, you know what else doesn't allow people to come on the show and talk? It's those long, overly complicated cocks that everybody's got.
I know.
I hate that. Don't even come to me with it.
Oh man, we spent 4 episodes talking about one server's cock.
Absolutely. We like to talk about cock repeatedly. At pretty much every show, we're all about
ad nauseum.
Well, if I might be able to point out, there is one big issue with any ROE and COC. For me, or what do you call this? Non-aggression pact or treaty, whatever you want to call it. The biggest problem with any of them is enforcement. if you can't enforce them, they got overly complicated. And along with enforcement, you need confirmation. I've heard some of your previous shows where you're talking about overly complicated ROEs, overly too many screenshots that are even faked. I mean, Scopely could actually help in here, but they've also publicly said we don't care. It's just TOS. That's it. Terms of service. Everything else above it is up to you players, however you want to do it. So it creates a whole lot of headaches for leadership, and as the social component becomes broken very easily.
I mean, I don't know what Scopely could really do about it. I mean, anything they try to do would probably screw it up. So I think they're probably right in just leaving it alone.
If I might be able to propose something, like they already allowed tags, right? So when you have what do you call this? You have an enemy alliance, you can tag them with a target sign or a heart sign if it's friendly or enemy. They could actually go further and allow admirals to
Individual
say,
tags.
okay, no, I'm not talking about individual tags. It's more like diplomacy settings where if we are allied, I cannot break my own ROE by allowing the leaders to say this. I mean, right now your friendly fire is off for the game. You cannot hit purple ships. Some people want to hit their fellow
Yeah, and
purple ships because
I
they're in the
think
way.
I should be able. I think I should be able to hit my own guys personally. I think that would be great.
No, because then we need people like Twisted and other people on your alliance to have me come out and get all the OPL in TC. I need that. Don't ever do that.
Well,
but yeah, but
I think it
before
would be nice just for the Commodores, so the Commodores could kill their own people. But that's it.
Nah, man, you ain't taking my lunch.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Those things, those little changes that what do you call this? Scopely could change with the settings where we can do more things. We can confirm a few things. Like the 0 nodes, there's no way of confirming it other than that 1 minute, 5 minute, 3 minutes. That's all crazy.
Well,
a 0 node is a 0 node.
I mean, if somebody sends a message for a 0 node,
so
then you can look at the timestamp.
I'll be a dick for 30 seconds. I'll send you a message that you're in a 0 node, even though you're actually mining. I'll hit it. How will you contest it?
Well, you just go look if there's still mats on that particular node. It's pretty obvious.
No. What ElCheapo is saying, there is no in-game confirmation. There's no metric.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, there's no information there to tell you how much was left on the node when you got hit. Blah blah blah.
Exactly.
Yeah, all that.
People can fake all that stuff, and Scopely can actually step in.
I mean, you could,
and
but
just allow confirmations.
I would argue that's conspiracy theorist kind of stuff. 99% of the time, if somebody sends you a message saying you're a 0 node, you were freaking 0. I mean, to just assume that a lot of these people are lying, I think, is not true. I mean, maybe
we don't play on the Asian servers, man. We don't know what life is like on there. Okay, maybe the Asian servers are different.
I have been on both sides.
From my experience, when somebody sends me something or tells me something, they're telling the truth. Very, very rarely do I ever catch somebody lying to me.
I have played leader where I have to be the level-headed person. I have played tip of the spear where I have to be the dick and I have to antagonize the enemy so we will win. I have put myself on the sacrificial chopping block, so to speak, so that everybody hits me and leaves everybody else alone. It's all different roles that I can play and I know how. And I was also there for the creation and the amendment of our various ROE, COCs, maps, and treaties. So if, it's something that Scopely can improve upon without actually stepping on and saying, we're stopping this altogether or we're just letting it go. a few things, exportable
Well, I
logs and all
agree.
that stuff.
They absolutely could, but I don't think they ever will. I mean,
Yeah.
generally speaking, we don't get to do a whole lot in this game. But if enough people complain about it or suggest it, Scopely does actually add things into the quality of life stuff. They like to add those things in for us, so it's doable. So
It's doable. Yeah, they just don't want to do it yet. So
well, if
whatever.
they have enough people asking for it, it's just as simple as this. They're not going to put any time, which is money, right? Anything they have their
Yes.
employees do costs them money, and they're just not going to
Correct.
do it unless people ask for it. It's just that
Absolutely.
simple.
Yep. Man, like I said, they can't even police their own terms of service. What are they going to do about treaties and ROEs and naps and whatever?
Well, nothing, of course. But they might give us the tools to deal with it if enough people ask. So if that's something you want more control over who your alliance can hit and how you mark people, then ask for it. And if enough
I gotta
people
step
ask
off for
it,
about a
they might
minute.
do it.
Be right back.
Okay. So, anyways.
Yeah, like I want to get back to the merge stuff if you don't mind, guys. And when ElCheapo comes back, what I want to find out is
well, he's still here.
When
so
they come over, do they want us to leave their cocks alone? That's what I'm interested in. Like, I want to know.
Do you want to mess with their cock?
I've got always like fucking.
You just want to jump in there and just screw
no,
with
well,
it.
you know what it is. You know what it is. We've got our own cock to play with, like, and.
Well, Amorgin, the best course of action may be for both of you to when you guys finally do merge or beforehand, if you guys both just whip out your cocks and compare and figure out.
Right.
That's already happened. Yeah, that's already happened on the Cheapo's Discord, and.
Oh wow, they're comparing cocks on Discord. That's great.
So it's a case right now, like, there are some people that are saying, like, I think some of the ROG guys mentioned about how there'll be a honeymoon period for the 196 guys.
Now, I'm curious.
I don't know if that's going to be the case.
On your server, are there alliances that have a different row or cock?
Yeah.
So do you treat those alliances differently, or do you?
Yeah. So basically.
Do you apply those alliances to your own ROE?
No. So our rules of engagement are simply that. That's how we engage with others, right? These are the rules that we tell our team to play by, right?
And so if another alliance doesn't agree with those rules, it doesn't matter. You're still going to treat that alliance.
Doesn't matter. We play by our rules. Now, having said that, we'll be criticised an awful lot by not playing by the, in quotes, server rules. And the server rules are basically a set of rules that were drafted up by ROG and their coalition. But their claim would be, because that includes ANS and RPH, and there's more alliance admirals that discussed this, that's the server row, which that's a whole pile of bullshit, because half the players on the server didn't sign up to it, right?
So that's just semantics. That's propaganda.
Yeah, that's the narrative that'll be peddled with the 196 guys, is that HUM are the guys that breached the server row. When in actual fact we have our row, which it's similar to. Like, there's a couple of small sticking points, and that broke the whole deal. We were on the verge of having another. Like, we've been through these rows or cocks, whatever you want to call it, over the years numerous times, like. And they've always ended up breaking down over some stupid little point. Maybe it's just some guy wants to go to war, whatever it is, but they always broke down. And the last time we were on the verge of this, the guys went and drafted up a detailed row and said, this is as close to the server row as you're going to get. This is what we're going to play with, but these couple of sticking points that we could never agree to, that's the only difference. And the little bit of sense of humour was put in by, is like, the way people are very fond of saying, you'll have 10 minutes to do this, and you'll have 5 minutes to do this, and you'll have this. So the boys took the piss and said, it's like, 33.333 minutes, and you know, there's a little bit of banter in there, and that's what you know what I mean, and that was thrown in there, and when that was presented to the 196 guys, it was frowned upon very much, going like, this is the disdain with which Hum treat a server row. They won't even take it seriously, and you know, all this kind of shite talk, like, and you know, and we're sitting there going, lads, it's called a fucking sense of humour, you know, get over it, like. So we will continue with our row. I'm not sure that these guys will get a honeymoon period from Hum. I think it, you know, I think it will be get in here and stand your ground,
as long as they know what your rules are, there shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, I mean,
well, both our rules are already posted in our on our Discord server. So
yeah, so I want to ask you,
CheaPo,
I want to ask you something, dude. Right?
Go ahed.
Fartasia or somebody said something about that you're going to have a honeymoon period when we merge, right? And that the 196 guys won't be basically attacked immediately. Did you get that sense?
No, it was proposed by Fartasia. Doesn't mean I believe it. I mean, come on. You know, I let you guys talk it out. I'm not gonna step in, and I'm not gonna take sides. I'm just gonna listen and get to know who I'm gonna be playing with. That's my role. Right. That's what's happening on my server right now.
Tell me this. So tell me this. Like, would you like us to leave your cock alone and let you play with your own cock, or do you wanna come and play with our cock, or what way are we going to do that? Like, what's your preference?
You know. You know what? I'm not in leadership anymore, so I don't even know where I'll end up after all this.
What's your opinion on the matter? So you're not. We understand you're not speaking for your server or your alliance, but what is your opinion?
I think everybody wants to know. The biggest question is, what's your opinion on cock?
Yes.
I like my cock. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, so, Amorgin, on a more serious note, continue playing with their own cock. They do not want to play with your cock. I'm sorry to say.
I just can't see, CheaPo. I was saying to the guys, I just can't see some of our guys giving anyone a honeymoon period. You know, it's game on. You know.
Well, the honeymoon period is right now. I mean, there's already honeymoon period right now. I mean, you're already getting to know the other server.
Hey.
You're already talking to them. You guys have compared cocks, and when you
hey.
jump in there, you're already going to know how to play.
Psychosis already has an invite to my base.
Okay,
that's all. Come visit me.
By the little bit I've got to know you, by the sounds of it, you're okay with that because that's the game, yeah?
Yes, it's a game. Come. Yeah. It's PvP. It's a PvP game, and honestly, I want new players because I want to play with you, with new guys. I mean, I stopped PvP. I went on all progression on our server because there's literally no one to play with. I know exactly what they're gonna do. I know their game, and I'm bored. I want somebody else to play with.
He's very excited to play with new cock.
Yeah, and Psychosis will be the first one to show you his cock. He's Scottish after all. He's going to turn up in a kilt and no underwear. You know that, like, you know.
I may be in the Philippines, but I do have Irish blood. So
good man.
Amorgin, I thought it was customary to not wear underwear.
No, you're spot on. That's the point. I just wasn't sure there if CheaPo understood that when the man turns up wearing a kilt that he's not going to have anything on underneath it. So it's going to be cocks on show, you know.
Dinafash. That's all I can say about it. Dinafash.
YouTube's going to ban our fucking podcast just because of this fucking show.
What are you talking about? We're just talking.
You know what we need to do? Tech. You know what we need to do? Side note: we need to put a cock counter at the top left, and so on the YouTube video.
Yes,
it's code of conduct. The shortcut is.
I'm just saying we need to put like a little ticker up there,
COC,
and every time we say it,
understand what the problem is. COC, cock. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Handy's in charge of the counter.
Okay.
he's gonna have to tell his customers, "Sorry, I'm gonna be late today. I'm on cock counter duty."
That's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
I can check the cocks out. I'm okay with that.
This has been such a cocking podcast.
We just can't let the joke go.
No.
No, this is going to start carrying on. I'd like to officially make a motion to change our ROE to COC so we can continue this.
I'm gonna do that tonight. Actually, I'm gonna go announce on the 34 Discord that we no longer have an ROE. We have a COC.
That's what we need to do. It's been discussed and agreed upon by the only people that matter, which are the people in this podcast.
Yeah, of course, right?
Yeah. You guys can actually make it follow the code of conduct, okay? So that's COCK.
Okay. No, code of conduct. Code of conduct. K.
Yeah, code of conduct. K.
Yeah, like KAY. Yeah, code of conduct.
KY. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. There we go.
I think we'll adopt that too. So it's much more fun.
Oh,
definitely.
Amorgin, I forgot to ask you. Your server, it serves Ireland, Scotland, and Australia, right? Or do you have more countries?
We had that when I talked about the very, very first server, the alpha testing server, I suppose it was way back. We had Romanians and Irish then. So we still have a couple of Romanian guys that rejoined before the Aussies came into it. The Scottish guy that's with us, he lives in Australia, so that's how he got involved. And we have an American, I think, and I think a little bit like what ElCheapo was saying. I think he was over in that part of the world when he downloaded the game or something. So I think that's about it. Irish, Romanian, Australian, and one Yank.
Are those Romanians like old timers or are they new guys?
They go back to the very origins of the game with us, with the Irish.
Oh, all right. And everybody speaks English?
Yeah.
All right. That's
except Bad Kitty. Bad Kitty, like I mentioned earlier, Bad Kitty has very broken English sometimes. Sometimes it's not so broken. I'm not sure where Bad Kitty's from. So let's just make up your own mind on that one.
Bad Kitty. It's a Bad Kitty. I actually tried being witty when Bad Kitty came into the Discord server, and I didn't get a witty reply back.
Hey, Tech, Handy, Amorgin, ElCheapo. It is 9:30 here my time, so I need to go ahead and hop off here. It was a little unplanned. Anyway, it was good talking to you all. I'm sure you're going to carry on the podcast forever and a day.
Pleasure as always, Kirk.
Yep.
Have a good night, Kirk.
Later, Kirk. It was nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. You too. And you take care of that cock, man, when you guys merge. It's very important. You need to make sure you protect it at all costs.
Yes.
At all costs, huh?
Tight. Wrap it up tight. Hold it close.
Well.
All right. But I think it's Amorgin. Did you brew a pot of tea or do you need to head out too?
I've gotten a second wind now talking about all these cocks. Like, it's got me a bit fucking excited now. So I'll not sleep very easy just yet.
You gotta stop rubbing it, bro.
Mind. He's not gonna be able to go to sleep now.
Yeah, stop rubbing it. It's gonna get bigger and more complicated if you keep on rubbing it, man. Stop it.
How long have we been going on now, Tech? Like I'll shoot off whenever suits, but I'll stick with you for as long as you need now.
92 minutes.
Well, a little less than that because I started recording a little later than 5 o'clock my time. But yeah, we've been
Oh,
going for about an hour and a half. I'm all right with cutting it off and having everybody say their final words, and hopefully they'll enjoy the merge when it comes. And we'll definitely be interested in hearing from you guys from the new server, whatever it may be.
And
yeah. Well,
we'll go to the after party room after show room when we're done here.
Yeah,
That
for
sounds.
sure.
I just want to make a final comment and a final plea for anybody that's listening, Tech, if you don't mind. It's my belief is it's well within Scopely's capability to offer everybody extra G3 refining options. It's been on our server for a couple of years now. People aren't aware out there that this is possible, and I think it's lazy and punitive to take another refining option away from a server that has enjoyed it for a number of years and has tested their product for a number of years. I'd like to put the call out to players. I've already spoke to Rev Deuce, I've spoke to Fartasia and all of the guys, and asked them privately and publicly to do what they can, and they've agreed that they'd be willing to stick their shoulder to the wheel. So what I'm going to ask anybody listening to do is to send in tickets to customer support. I know you guys are saying it doesn't matter and all of that there, but if they're flooded with requests for the extra G3 refines and for all servers to be brought into line with the founder server, it'll at least give them something to think about, and it'll give us something to lobby about and give out about when we're trying to represent what's best for the players. All of these content creators, DJ, Deuce, all of the rest of them, they all claim to be representing the community and doing what's in the best what's in the best interest of the community. Extra G3 refines, I believe, would be something that everybody would welcome, and it is possible. It just means Scopely getting the finger out of their arses and making it happen.
Now, a quick question
I understand.
to you, Amorgin. A quick question.
Yeah.
So, do you have Prime Refinery? The research.
Now, as part, yeah, well, like that's standard for everybody, right? I'm talking about when you go in to refine your G3 and hit the button. We have two options at that. We have two goes at that.
And what are the two options?
Hold on, I'll open the game here. I'm talking to you. So when I go in to refine my G3, hopefully I have something to refine here. Give me a second. I've showed this off in videos before. There's a video on my channel if people want to go and search for it called Pure Refining, which shows you when we had the 3 refine options. Right?
I know. I was very jealous about the triple refine, man. That's a lot of
those have been taken away. But people can go and
what does
search.
It gain you here to our listeners? What is it?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. They can go and they can check what that was on a video where I recorded it. But if you give me a second, and I'll go into my refinery and see if I have anything to refine. I probably don't. No, it's a couple hours to go yet. So the first refine, essentially, you get to do it standard enough, and then the second one, you only get the double refine and the single refine. You don't get the 75k refine. I don't think. When you guys refine, do you get like the 12k, 75k, and 3k refine when you do that?
No, that's G3 is 1750 something, 20k and 75k.
Right, 1750. Yeah, okay. 25 and 75, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Right. I'm not sure about the 25. I think it's 25.
So the second one
feel like
for
it's
us
25.
the second one for us is just the two smaller ones. It doesn't have the 75 then.
Let me make it clear for everybody that to understand. There are 2 options of refining. There's your standard 1750, 12K, and 75, and 3 more options that you can refine. That is 1750 and 12K.
And you can do
both
of them or all 3 of them every time.
Every time.
No,
when I open my game, I have without prime refines, I have grade 3 crystal twice, grade 3 gas twice, grade 3 ore twice. But on the grade 2, I only have single ones.
That makes it clear. Thank you.
Yes, yes, it does.
It's a totally separate button. It's like you literally have
totally separate button.
Duplicate.
Yeah.
You have a duplicate refinery.
Yeah, and let's just say that the founder server actually used to have 3. Now they have 2, and after the merge, it's very possibly going to be just 1.
And
for your guys' sake, we hope you get 2.
In addition,
and if they keep it tech, it's even a bigger argument then for other servers to come and enjoy this. It's about time. G4 is here now. They've been looking actively at trying to make G3 more available to the wider player base to allow that progression up to G4, which is where the money's at. So why not give everybody the G3 refined? It's simply a case of adding it in for people.
Right.
It'll take a bit of effort, but it can be done.
And I do want to point out that the founder server does have an extra event. I believe it's every week, every Monday, where
every week, 6 days out of the 7 days, we have an event. One of them is for bonus gas, one of the bonus G3 gas, one of them for bonus G3 ore, one of them's for bonus G3 crystal, and then one's for power steel, one's for titanium, one's for dilithium.
Right, and so
then
what
it's
happens
like a day off, and it repeats.
Right, so when you mine it, for example, you mine for your dailies for your ore.
So go out and mine 10k-ish G3 gas, for example, and then you get 60k gas as a reward.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
So that's something that could be implemented on every server, and I think that's what Amorgin is trying to hammer out, that if you're already mining, which most people do anyway, go mine, get more stuff while you're mining. So get more bang for your buck while you're mining.
Basically, yeah. And they can they've been testing it on our server for years. It's been working. It hasn't given anybody a dramatic advantage. In fact, we're still playing catch up with a lot of the servers out there. We don't have any level 50s yet or anything like that. These guys have all moved to G4 now. It's irrelevant to the high level players, to the big spenders. It's not going to change their spending habits. It's the lower to mid-level guys that would benefit from this and allow us to catch up with the G4, and maybe then some of them guys might actually even start spending a bit of money to get that little bit of further. It makes sense. There's no reason why Scopely wouldn't bring all servers into line. I've been calling for it for years, but I don't have the reach that the likes of Deuce has or ElCheapo or any of that. I've asked the guys to come on board with it. They said they would, but without players going and annoying Scopely through tickets to customer support, it makes it easy for them to ignore that and give excuses. Right. But if the players come together and demand it, you have a better chance.
So
please spam customer support with messages asking for the G3 refining to be brought in line across the board with the founder server.
So what I would recommend is, Amorgin, why don't you and I write the actual ticket that people can copy and paste from the description of this video and send it to Scopely. They won't even 100%. They won't even have to write it themselves. Just copy and paste it.
That would be awesome. That would really be helpful. Yeah. While you're at it, photon tokens.
If needs be, I'll share some screenshots. I'll share some screenshots with you, Tech, and a link to that refining video, and people can contact RAs and the community managers on Discord and say, why have we not got this as well? And they can use Discord as well.
Yeah, that would be a good point too. Reach out to the official Discord, and we'll craft that message and we'll drop it right in the video and audio description. And everybody, and mass spam Scopely with it.
I like that idea. You gotta swing your cock once in a while,
There you go. Cheapo's getting it.
We will turn him to the dark side.
You mean the light side? Everybody else is the dark side.
Oh yeah, light side. Right.
I just told Psychosis there, Cheapo, in our Discord that we were chatting and that, and he's after posting up an image of Braveheart where all the boys are showing their arses when they're lifting their kilts. So I think that's a come. I think that's a come and get me gesture.
I've seen that movie. It was Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. All right, guys.
Okay.
Let's move it over to the after show.
All right, guys. I think it's been a pleasure. Thank you all for listening. I want to thank Amorgin from server 190 and ElCheapo from server 196. Currently going through a merge. We will follow up with these guys as it merges. We'll see what happens. Everybody, don't forget to spam Scopely with the message that you want those extra G3 refines and those events.
And please like and subscribe and leave comments. It helps the algorithm.
Thank you, sir. Took the words right out of my mouth.
No, I didn't.
Thanks for having me here.
Guys,
yeah, thanks,
thank you everybody for listening. For StrangeKirk, whatever, same difference. I'm Techman16.
I'm Strange Handy.
And we'll see you guys next time.